what we're doing is we're making pizza cake. You're probably wondering what the heck is a pizza cake. So we were talking about pineapple on a pizza and how you'd have to be really weird to put pineapple, which is fruit, on a pizza, which isn't something sweet. And then we thought, why stop a pineapple on a pizza? Why not just put a whole load of fruit on the pizza? Which then kind of led us to thinking about the pizza base, and rather than having a regular pizza base, why not just have a cake base and then put fruit on top of it, and then basically have a pizza that looks like, well, have a cake that looks like a pizza but isn't. So that was what led us to trying to make a pizza cake. So that's what we're going to do today. So what we've got is, what have we got here? How much sugar have we got here? So we've got 100 grams of sugar, 2.5 eggs. So we separated the eggs. We've got 2.5 yolks and 2.5 eggs worth of egg whites separated. And we've got some vanilla essence in our little silver thing. And we've got some flour and some cornstarch. So we've got some cornstarch there and flour and some baking powder. Right, so what we're going to do is, what are we going to do?
Go put about half of this into there.
So you're going to put half of the sugar.
Yeah.
So tip that in. It's half the sugar. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to put that on the mixer and just going to just start mixing it. How much do you have to mix it? Stiff white peaks. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to mix it till it forms stiff white peaks. So we're going to mix that. Just screw it up a bit. And once that's done, we'll continue with the next stage. Right, so turn it off. Now, if we lift that, so if you can see the peaks, it should be that kind of consistency when you stop spinning it. So yeah, so that is basically ready for the next. We're ready for the next stage now. Right, so we've got that set aside in one of the mixing bowls. You're going to need to get another mixing bowl, or if you haven't got two, you could just pop that into a different bowl, clean that, and then do this bit in that bowl. So what we've got in here now is 2.5 eggs, the rest of the sugar. We've got the vanilla essence going in now. Make sure you get it all in. That's it. And then that is going to get whisked. So now we're going to whisk this up until what?
Until it turns pale yellow. They'll all be mixed together in pale yellow.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Right, so now that's mixed. It's kind of a pale yellow, like it's pretty pale. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix and take this whisk off, and we're going to whisk. Just grab a plate, get that bowl, and then you can put this whisk in that bowl. Stop it dribbling around everywhere. That's it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to mix that stuff into there with a wooden spoon. So if you just empty all of that into there first. Just get this out. And then just pop all that in there. Right, now that's all in, so now it just needs folding. You don't want to overdo the mix, you just want to kind of fold it in. If you kind of go all the way around like that and then do this, you don't want to overdo it. So you don't want to overdo the mix, otherwise you'll burst all the air out of the whisked egg whites, which is essentially a meringue mix. Go on, hurry up. And then what you want to do is you want to put all the powder stuff in there. So what's that, baking powder?
Yeah,
Cornstarch.
powder, flour, and cornstarch.
So that's what's going to need folding in. So we're going to do that now. Right, so now what we're going to do is put the flour in. Let's see, right? Right, put the other bit. Let's see. It should be really light and fluffy, like this. I don't know if you can kind of tell. It should be really light and fluffy. Make sure you get all the flour from the sides as well. Right, pop the other stuff in, and the cornstarch and the baking powder. So that's it, and then mix that in as well. So I'll do that and then show you what it looks like. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get this mix, and we've basically greased like a round shallow tin, and we're going to empty all of that into this. Right, and now if we kind of spread it out a bit, thick, isn't it?
The spatula work.
Yeah, we don't want to like scratch and dig out all the butter on the bottom, so we're better off just doing this. If you get it as close to the edge as possible, the rest should kind of spread out, you know, once it goes in the oven. Is the oven on? Get the oven ready. What was it, 180?
180, yeah.
So get the oven ready to 180 and put the power beast on so it hurries up and gets hot. Come on. Right. So we might have to use a spatula just to kind of
Just coax it a bit.
yeah, I don't know. That's probably not a good idea. Let's see if we can scrape a bit more out and fill that gap. Right, that'll do. It doesn't have to be perfect, I guess. It should, hopefully. Flatten out a bit. You know what? While the oven is while the oven is kind of sorting itself out, we'll try and level this out a little bit more. So, right, so what we got is a tin of pineapple chunks, and we've got a tin of fruit cocktail. It'd be nice if there's like more different kind of colours, but it all seems like an orangey kind of colour. But anyway, we're going to drain out the syrup that it comes in. So we're going to pour it all into a sieve, and we're going to do the same with the chopped pineapples. This is the only pizza that pineapple should be on. Right, so we're going to let that sit and drain so we get most of the liquid out, and then we'll arrange that on the cake once the cake is ready and out of the oven. Right, so now this is going to go in the oven. So we're going to put that in the oven at 180 in the middle of the shelf, and close that. Right, so the cake's out and it's pretty much done. I think, what did you put in, a knife? Yeah, so if you poke a knife into it and pull it out and it doesn't come out with anything, chances are it's going to be done. It was in there for about 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, 26.
Yeah, I think it should have come out a little bit quicker than that. It's a little bit darker than it should have been. But we're going to flip it out onto the cooling rack. So I'm just going to pop the phone down and then flip it around. Right, so we managed to get this out. It was in for about 27 minutes. If I was you, I would check it in about 10 to 15 minutes max, because the edges will start getting a bit hard and crusty. We've had to cut off about an inch, inch and a half all the way around. So yeah, so just a bit of a heads up there, because it isn't like a thick cake, it's thin, so it's not going to take very long to bake at all. Right, so now what we're going to do is get some of this custard, and we're going to pour that on there. Smooth that out of the way. Right, so if you just get that spread out a little bit over the base, like that. Get a tablespoon from there, just dry it like first. It's a bit difficult doing it with a knife. It's a bit watery, this as well. I think the best thing to do is make the mix a bit thicker. This is ready to use custard, so if you're good at making custard, it's probably better to kind of make a thicker one, or it might be a good idea to heat up some custard if it's ready to use until it kind of thickens, or maybe mix some cornstarch or something in it. Yeah, just chuck that in the sink, we don't need that. What we're going to do is put a bit more of that on in the middle, spread it with a spoon like that. You don't want to put too much on it either, because it'll just get absorbed into the cake. And then what we're going to do is start putting in, or putting on, some of these fruit bits, like the pineapples, and then we'll put some fruit cocktail in the middle. Right, so yeah, so what we've done is we've just arranged pineapple around the edges, and I'm just literally sprinkling on the fruit cocktail that was strained in the sieve. So I'm just finishing that bit off like that. Move some of that over there. and that's it. Right, so in here we've got 300 ml of double cream. Is it double cream? So we've got 300 ml double cream in here. We're going to whisk that until it's thick enough to be able to spread, but not too thick, because once you put dollops of it on top of the pizza cake, you want to be able to spread it rather than shifting it around and moving around all the bits that you've put on the fruit cake. So you want it kind of soft, but not too soft and not too hard. So we're going to do that now, and then show you what the consistency is kind of like. Right, so we just had this in the fridge for about 10 minutes. Ideally it should be in there for a little bit longer, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the cream onto this and then put it in the fridge again. It should be kind of like this. If you can see, I'm not really pressing too hard, like to kind of spread it around a bit. If it does become a little bit too hard, just add a bit of butter. I mean, not butter, what am I talking about? Add a bit of milk and it should soften it up a little bit. But what I'm going to do is put little dollops around pizza like that, and then kind of spread it out rather than putting a big massive dollop in the middle, and then try to let's just push this in a bit. And then I think even this is a bit on the hard side, this cream. Yeah, I think maybe it's a bit, so it really needs to be soft, like softer than the custard and all of that, really. But I think next time we do it, it's not going to mix it for as long. And if you do, then it's going to get softened up with a bit of milk. I think what we're going to have to do is put tiny little bits around. So let's see how that spreads. There you go, and that is pizza cake. I think what I'll do is a little bit later on I'll chop it in half once it's like been in the fridge for a bit, and then kind of show you what it looks like on the inside, if it hasn't ended up in everybody's bellies by then. So thanks for watching.